I played every single Diablo game ever made, a franchise with almost 30 years of history. Hey, it's my age. And I played them all in the past, but I can't say I have huge memories of them all. So in this video, we are gonna play them all one by one, starting with... I don't remember that year at all cause, well, I was a newborn. So this game is new for me. I choose the rogue since it seemed the one that I was gonna struggle the least to play as. And yeah, because it was the only female character as well, okay? And I have to admit, I don't play these games for the stories, but spoiler alert, this is the only game from the list that I was actually invested in what they were telling me. Why? Well, the entire vibe of the game in a way reminded me of a Scooby-Doo episode.
I wish I had a ham sandwich to calm my nerves.
Between the voice acting.
Thank goodness you returned. Much has changed since you lived here, my friend. All was peaceful until the Dark Riders came and destroyed our village.
And the aesthetics. And I say this in a really good way. I love it. But on top of that, I really like the fact that there are not so many NPCs, cause they are easy to remember and at the same time their dialogues aren't heavy either. At the same time, when they told me I had to go kill the Butcher, something woke up in me cause believe it or not, even though I always knew he was from the Diablo franchise, I know him primarily from playing Heroes of the Storm. As for the gameplay, I am playing this game as intended as possible, and I have to admit that I was more drawn to the story itself than actually playing it, cause while it wasn't a bad or boring game, it felt clunky to move. On top of that, killing enemies didn't really feel satisfactory. Also, the UI was sort of complicated at first. But at the same time, I understood they wanted me to figure it out on the hoof and not rush into the action. And if I was still lost, use the manual. I wouldn't have an issue using it if I had it physically, but reading the PDF wasn't interesting at all, to be honest. The thing that was interesting was the exploration. At least the crypt where the Butcher was fun to explore. Even in those rooms that didn't have anything, at least it was an immersive experience overall. And when I finally fought the big guy, I died. And if you know something about all games, is that they don't have autosave, so... guess who forgot to save? Yeah... For the longest time, I heard a lot of good things about this game, so when I played it, I had my expectations very high. In fact, I would say way too high. And it's not like I didn't play it when I was a kid, but I don't have any vivid memories about it other than doing the cow Easter egg. The Scooby-Doo vibe from the previous game changed for a darker one. You see it on the graphics, the music, the NPCs. So because of that, I wanted to be more spooky and I chose the Necromancer this time. Honestly, big mistake. Like, I don't wanna say it's a boring class, and I understand that these games excel in the endgame, but I will always believe that if a game doesn't hook you on start, it's not worth playing it later on. I mention this because Necromancer on start was very boring to me. Yeah, I had my skeleton, but that was it. Maybe I could choose a different class or a different spell to start with, but I wanted to talk about my first experience for this video. And if it's negative, I won't hold back just cause it is someone else's childhood game. That being said, in this game the NPCs talk a lot more compared to Diablo 1 and my attention span didn't like to stand them. But gameplay wise, it's actually better than the first one in every single way. I don't think it's on that sweet spot for me to play it personally nowadays, but I gotta give credit where credit is due. It feels so much better to move and kill enemies than in the first Diablo. The loot was also interesting, it has some passives that really switch up the way you will play it and enhance your build. It is more fun to mess around when you get a cool item, and the UI, in a way it's better as well as the first one, but at the same time, it was kinda confusing, to the point that I figured out some stuff about it when I played Resurrection instead of the original one. Yes, we will talk about that one later. I feel like as an experience, I enjoy Diablo 1 more, but as a game, Diablo 2 is one step above it, so it was interesting to try it at least. Oh, 12 years. Now I understand why fans hate this game. This is the game that I played the most, maybe. I didn't play it when it came out because at the time they were insane games to play and I was busy with high school as well. However, I played this game a few years ago and since then I tend to play it once every year for a few weeks. For this time I choose Monk since it was one of the new classes that I didn't play much in the past. And I have to say that as for someone that really likes high fantasy, I don't mind the change of tone again of this game. However, the tone wasn't the only thing that changed, the pacing as well. This game is frenetic, doesn't matter if you're playing a tank or a demon hunter, every character feels like you're running on cocaine in comparison to the previous games. Which, with the technical removal of the talent trees, now you have more freedom to experiment and build more interesting builds without being punished for it. And if you have enough gold, in which you probably have because it's so easy to get, you're gonna be able to have different cosmetic sets. In comparison to the other games so far, these things add a bunch of stuff for the casuals, and I never really felt overwhelmed by it honestly. Every level you will get a new passive or active that will change the way you play your character, but you could also choose to not use it if you don't like it, or pick it up again later if you feel like you will need it. At the same time, this is the first Diablo game with a comfortable console port. Yes, I'm aware of the Diablo 1 on PlayStation 1, but I tried that thing and it was terrible for me, I don't know. I can't say much about the story of the game, other than some characters that I definitely recognize here and there, but I skipped a lot of dialogues as well as cutscenes in this game every time I played it. I tried it once, it wasn't my vibe, there was much more text than in Diablo 2, and I know it's a blasphemy what I'm saying, but I wanted to get into the action quick in these games. So this game is a very good remaster of the original Diablo 2, and it actually makes most of the problems I have with the original game disappear. I tried to not commit the same mistake as last time, so I choose a different class to start with too. The game is to me way more responsive, the enemies are cleaner to watch, but also fun to destroy. The UI is a lot more understandable and you don't need a manual for it, even the map is clearer too. I know it's weird because usually I'm not a person that prays a lot the remakes and remasters, and it's not like I like it more than Diablo 3 either, but in comparison to Diablo 1 and the original Diablo 2, this is one of the most fun experiences I had playing a Diablo game. I don't have much else to say about it cause the footage speaks on its own, but to me at least, made the original Diablo 2 an obsolete experience in comparison to this version.
Is there any plans to make this playable on PC, or is this just strictly mobile forever?
Are there any? The current plan is to be on mobile, both Android and iOS. We don't have any plans at the moment to do PC. Do you guys not have phones? Yeah.
This game is... it's alright. And by alright I mean it's a watered down and guided version of Diablo 3 in a way. So if you're annoyed about that game, you're gonna hate this one even more. It's as good as a phone game can be. As far as I'm concerned, this game has pay-to-win practices, but I never really felt forced to use them or I saw them much. It's something that I just read. And I have to admit that the new classes are fun to use. Eventually I would prefer to have more spells to see their true potential in a less limited game, but I can't complain much about it really. It's a weird mix between trying to appeal to the fan service by bringing back iconic characters from the franchise and putting them all together in this game, and also totally different experience of a Diablo game in comparison to any of the others. There isn't really any reason why you can't get lost playing the game because the tutorials, as any phone game, are very restrictive, so overall it's a casual experience that will attract people that play free-to-play games often or phone games, but I can't see being a game that will replace any other game from the franchise, especially for the fans. It's just a very boring game. I had a full script explaining why, but with the sore throat I have right now and how boring this game is, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. It follows the rule of bigger equals better, but in every single mechanic. More talents per level that they just swap stats. More loot per kill, but the loot is useless most of the time. More rooms per dungeon, but the rooms are empty. And the list goes on and on. It looks pretty and the first 2 hours is fun and promising, but when you can't refund it anymore, that's when you realize that that's it, and I don't have it in me to reach the endgame if the rest of the game was boring. I tried to like it and it didn't work out. That's how I feel about this game. It's so boring. It's not terrible, it's just incredibly boring. Either way, a franchise with more than 30 years of games. All of them gave me reasons to be surprised about, some positive ones, other negatives, but which games do you enjoy from this franchise? I hope you liked this video, and if you did, I would appreciate it if you leave a like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.